Hey guys, how's it going? In case you didn't know, I am Alice and this is the Smyth View.
Back again, people.
Back in our spot. This is where we filmed.
The exact same one. Everything's the same except for Dylan, and it's not as cold now.
Yeah, it's not as cold. I'm in a t-shirt and I'm doing fine. We're doing an off-the-cusp advice to people going into their first year of college because it's that time of the year.
It is that time of the year. Everyone I'm texting, like, everywhere is concerned about college and, like, so worried about it. Like,
how did you find your first year?
I thought it was okay. Like, I think my biggest issue with my first year of college was I had my expectations way too high.
I think everyone does.
I think everyone watches way too much American movies about college, and they're going in expecting like cheerleaders and all these mad house parties and all or whatever, and you go in, you're just like, oh, it's still kind of just like Irish people, like in like a very Irish setting, like. Yeah,
I think that people do have unrealistic expectations. I was definitely one of them. You go in and you expect to make like 10 million friends be like happy all the time, doing stuff all the time, but I don't know, I think you just need to be a bit more be realistic with what you're expecting, and if things aren't unbelievable from the get-go, don't be too disheartened. But I think as well, one thing that ties into that is that because people have these high expectations of what college is going to be like, I think that a lot of people try and not pretend, but try and like convince everyone else that they are having this like otherworldly time.
100%,
like
100%.
Instagram and everything, like people
stories,
are like, look at me and all my new friends, look at me going out, and
in reality you probably like know them a bit from class, and you just happen to at that like one time or whatever, going somewhere.
That's what I found, because I remember me and my friend after first year of college, so during the summer, we like sat down and we just like had a big chat. We hadn't really talked that much during the year, and I was like to her, oh my god, you looked like you had the best year ever, like you seemed like you were having such a good time. And she turns to me and she goes, I had such a terrible year.
Really?
And I was like, what? Just because I'd been seeing her like going out all the time, or like on Instagram like posting loads of pictures and stuff, I was just like, oh, she's having a great time. But she was like, I had a shit year, and I was just like, oh. So that's one thing I would say to look out for, is that your friends might not be having as good a time as their Instagram
don't believe the hype at all.
their Instagram says they are.
Yeah.
What do you think about like the transition from secondary to college, and like the difference in lectures and classrooms and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I think it's brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Like, as someone who like didn't enjoy secondary school whatsoever, I was like chuffed with this. And I like how if you have a bad day in secondary school, you are stuck there with pretty much the same people for like the whole day, and it's just like a really long day and stuff. But like, at least in college, even if you're having like a bad day or whatever, at least for me, it could depend on your course, but like, no, we had like a lot of breaks, a lot of gaps. It's kind of a bit more kind of like freedom to it, I think. And I really liked that. I liked, not like people aren't breathing down your neck with like notes and all this that other, like, and I think that people are, less fake in college as they are in secondary school. I think some people definitely get over that kind of like secondary school kind of like hype and kind of like bullshit like and stuff, but others, I think it does kind of stick with them a little bit. But I think a lot of people kind of like unanimously are kind of a bit like, alright, look, we're past that stage now, like,
Yeah, I feel like when you're in 5th and 6th year, when you're 18 and stuff, you're too old to be treated the way that you're being treated in secondary school. Like, to have people giving out to you for like not wearing the right jumper, or like just stupid things that teachers and stuff would give out to you for, obviously that's what they're there for, but it's like you just get way too old for that. So I agree that the freedom of college is really nice, and the kind of the less strict kind of schedule you have. Like, there is breaks, and even when you have lectures, like if you don't go to it, like no one's going to be chasing you to find out like why you're not there, and all, like, go to your lectures and all that, but if you need to take some time off, some time off, like, it's fine.
I think what I would say about the people though who are going into first is that like everyone keeps telling you that like lecturers do not care and no one will care if you don't go to lectures and la la la, and I kind of had this perception whereby it would be like it was hardly even a difference if I was there or wasn't there, and like that could be the case if you have like big lecture halls full of people or whatever, but in terms of like not showing up to lectures and all that, there's still definitely, at least where I go, I kind of have a vibe of like you could easily just not go and no one's going to be like breathing down your neck with notes or anything like that, but like it's not as though you could just easily like knock out any and like no one will notice and that kind of thing. Like,
how many people are in your?
So I'm like 30. So for me, it's like almost the same as a classroom.
That's
but I get,
nice.
but I'd say for you it could be different because I know you have bigger lectures.
For me, my lectures like would be, I'd say, at least 100 people, and you really see. It's kind of different because you really don't form a bond with any of your lecturers.
Really?
Yeah, and
that's so different.
See, I suppose it depends on your circumstance as well, like what you're doing, where you are, how many is in your course. But that was one thing I found hard because in school, like in secondary school, I just really loved like the classroom, and I didn't realise until I left it because there's like 25 people, and you can like have banter and stuff, and you get on, well, I got on with most of my teachers and I could like have banter with the teachers and stuff. And then for me, going to these huge lecture halls where you're just like, sit down, shut up, and take this down, and I don't have any kind of connection with who's teaching me things, that was hard for me. But obviously that's not going to be the same in every course because you've got like 30 people.
Yeah, so it's a bit more into like, I mean, like they know your name, and I mean, like it depends on the lecturer too. Like some might just not care at all, and others sometimes are like, you know what I mean? People in my class would be like, there are certain lectures where it feels like you're back in secondary school. They're very like teacher-esque, like like close to, if not even actually being like, oh, where were you last Tuesday almost, or whatever. And obviously it pisses everyone off when they're like that, and it varies on lecturers. Some like do not care at all, they understand you're in control, but others are very like, I think younger lecturers, in my kind of perception at least, tend to be a lot more kind of very like a teacher. I think they have so much to prove in getting good results out of you. They kind of want to coach you through college and be like, do it. The older ones are like, I have my job, like it's up to you if you want to get your grades. Like, and then some go too far with that, I think, as well. Like, but your lecturers vary. It's so hard to know. Like, but at least you have multiple lectures, not just one teacher. Like for classes.
Speaking of grades, one thing that I didn't realise how significantly different would be is how hard it is to achieve high percentages in college. Like, I don't know about your course, like it could be different everywhere, but our course, it's like if you get 70%, you're like top of the class.
100%,
And in secondary school, like it was like you wanted 90s and all this kind of stuff. Right, like when I'm in college now, all I want to see on that paper is a pass. Like I'm going into next year, I don't have to do repeats. So that's one thing that changed, I think, is you go from wanting to do the absolute best you can in your leaving cert. Well, some people do, some people don't care. And then because I was like a high achiever in the leaving cert or whatever, and then coming to college, I was like, I literally just want to pass.
No, like I have that as well. I think like the reason why I was a high achiever in like secondary was kind of because like I was just a person who like did care a lot about the grades or whatever, and like kind of like just wanting to do my best in like the kind of the academic side of things. I think it was definitely like an adjustment for me going into college then, because I kind of went from being like, alright, 90s and above and everything, to getting that like knocked out of me almost straight away when I thought I was smashing things, and then you get, like, but then like it's like you get a 70 and the lecturer's like, oh, you did smash that, and you're a bit like,
but why is this not?
But like, no, I didn't. And then I think the big difference though is that I think a lot of the times to do unbelievable in like college grades requires so much work that's like outside of the classroom, kind of like, you know, like reading that like the extra source and stuff like that, which a lot of people just don't have time for, especially in first year. You're not really used to it, because I think in secondary a lot of time you can get high grades by just knowing what the teachers want and doing it. Whereas there's so much variety in college.
In secondary school it's kind of like, here's the information, if you can learn this piece of information you will get a high grade, whereas in college it's like, here's a reading you could do, here's a reading you could do, can you pick out these pieces from that reading, can you put it together properly? It's a very different skill, I think.
It's definitely scary too, because I was like the type of person who I'd always ask a load of questions. Probably people watching this from my class who are like, I'm like the one who holds up all the lectures, because I was like, does everyone get that? I'm like, no, I don't actually, could you keep going please?
How are you doing? You alright? Listen, is that recording, is it? I can turn it off there a second.
No problem.
You're not in any trouble or anything, alright?
No worries.
Listen, there's a fellow going around doing syringe robberies. Alright, he's just approaching people like yourselves that are kind of alone and secluded. You wouldn't mind if I ask you just to sit somewhere where there's a bit more people?
Okay, yeah.
So you're not singled out, alright? We're up here looking for him. It's just you'd be a prime target for him, and I don't want you getting hurt.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Don't mind him. If you see him, just give me a shout. I'll be around, alright?
Okay.
Cheers. Thank you. Holy shit.
Okay, guys. So the video got cut off there because of the popo. So we did intend on finishing it somewhere else, but we couldn't really find anywhere to film because that spot in Stephen's Green is just so good for filming, but we didn't want to get robbed by a syringe robber. We had to bolt and we didn't get to finish the video. We did touch on most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, but there was one or two things that I thought had to be included. Also, I just want to say that everyone's situation is different, so my experience of college is not going to be the same as your experience of college or Alex's or anything like that. So I just want you to keep that in mind, but this is what we have come across, and what we talked about was all sort of actual college based. Like we talked about lectures. I can't even remember at this stage. I'm filming this like 2 weeks later. I know, I'm so bad, I'm sorry, I've been away for so long. Whatever. But of course, another huge part of college is socializing, going out, drinking, drugs become a big thing in college, all of that stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I touched on that as well, kind of more the social side. And what I will say is, yes, drinking and going out and all that kind of stuff is a very big part of college. And in my experience, I think if you're not into drinking and going out, you do miss out a little bit. Oftentimes people get to know other people and make really good friends through going out, through drinking, through all that kind of stuff. And if you aren't the kind of person who is into that, that's absolutely fine. But you may feel like you're missing out a little bit because a lot of socializing does get done in that way, and a lot of people make friends in that way through pre-drinks, through just getting drunk with other people and going out having fun. And just naturally you just make friends. So what I would say, if you are into drinking and going out all the time, drugs, as I said, drugs do become more prominent in college. If you are into all of that, great, go have fun, make some friends, be safe. But if you're not into it, what I would say is it's not the end of the world. You don't just be alone. Like, there's loads of people who aren't into that and people who don't want to. But there are also people who you would be really good friends with who are more into it than you are, and you can't keep up with them. So what I would advise is that make sure you have hobbies in college if you want to make friends in college, because yes, you can make friends through your course, but a lot of the time, in my experience, a lot of good bonds and connections are made through clubs and societies and stuff. So if you're into sports, join sports teams. If you have other hobbies, try join societies for them. It's just a really good way to make friends, keep yourself busy, make sure you're getting up to something, you feel productive. And if you're into both drinking and having lots of hobbies, do that. I would highly recommend that. So I think that was all I wanted to add to this video. If there's anything else you want to know, obviously every college is going to be different, every course is going to be different. So I'm not going to be able to give you very specific, this is what you should do advice, but I can do my best. So if there's anything else you want to know about your first year of college, what to expect, yeah, that's what this video is. If you want some advice from a non-professional, I don't know if there's anyone who is a professional in giving college advice, but if you want some advice or if you have any questions, just leave them down below. I will get back to you all. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Again, comment down below any questions you have, and if you want to see more, subscribe, because I'm hoping to be back in action from now. I know I've said that a few times, but I'm back to college now, so I'm back to more of a routine. I know when my filming slots are, when I have the time to edit and stuff like that. Again, I do apologise, but sometimes you just have to take a step back and make yourself miss it to kind of push yourself to get back into it, if that makes sense. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully see you soon. Goodbye. Also, thank you, Alex, for being in the video. Bye.